Good afternoon. Welcome to Turkheim. Well, now looks like a dry Turkheim. Wasn't like that when we arrived a couple of hours ago.
Thanks for turning up.
Yeah, pretty soggy, pretty wet. Yeah, Matt breathed a sigh of relief when we did get here. Took us a bit longer than we expected, actually. It's we'd kind of forgotten it's a public holiday today in Bavaria, so...
Forgotten? Was it in your previous database of public holidays?
Yeah, maybe, potentially. We...
Okay.
Big accident there. Don't know if we just saw that, actually, on...
I think we did.
We did. We did have that just happen in front of us. That was a fairly hefty-looking accident that I think we're going to see repeated a couple of times over the weekend, to be honest. There's this corner that you can see directly in front of us in shot, this sort of Omega turn, these two left-hand corners. Sure, we'll mention that a couple of times over the weekend. I think he took too much curb coming in. That was the number 5 car, Teddy Vandal. Vandal's quite an appropriate name, really, looking at what he's done to that car. Just popped it straight across the fence onto the main straight, and of course someone's coming flat chat down there in second gear, and he's just collected it, and I think it's getting the universal symbol for its dead Jim being taken back across to the pit lane by his mechanics. So anyway, I was saying, we got here a little bit late, but it was raining anyway when we turned up. As a result, we were supposed to be having one round of qualifying tonight. Seeding practice was supposed to have been completed. It hasn't, so this is the first round of seeding practice that's just going on, and we're going to run one more round of that tonight. So that will be all of the seeding practice done. That's weather permitting, of course. It does look relatively dry out there. So should get all of that completed by the end of the day today, and then we'll go into qualifying proper tomorrow morning. We're scheduled to have 5 rounds of qualifying, 2 of them taking place today and a further 3 tomorrow morning, and then start off with some of the lower down finals. I think that might have to be revised possibly. And then run on a little longer into Saturday as well. But we'll keep you informed with that as the weekend goes along. That was heat number 6 of time practice. There's 9 heats here. So cars just going out on track for their... in fact, that's them just starting heat number 6 of time practice. It was the warm-up for it just previously that we've seen going around. So only car that's not running is Teddy Vandal. No surprise, we saw what happened to him. So welcome to you if you are just joining us. We have literally just come on air. Like to thank our event sponsors for bringing us here. That's Infinity and A-Main Hobbies. And of course EFRA as well for inviting us along here to the Turkheim track. We are about an hour west of Munich in southwestern Germany. This the EFRA 1/10 IC Track European Championships. So what we're seeing at the moment is the seeding practice, looking for the 3 fastest consecutive laps that these guys can manage out there. That will put them into their qualifying heats for tomorrow. So they'll be trying to identify areas on the track, or nice gaps on the track that they can get themselves into, get 3 clean laps in, try and get themselves as far up the heat list as they possibly can do. Seeing a few people watching with us. Mick Farrell joining us. Hi, Mick. Good to see you. Looking at the moment then, we've got the number 1 car, Jean-Marie Glorenek, being the fastest car out there. Let's see if we can pick him up and follow him a little bit. Everybody's been really imaginative and running single colour shells, apart from, I think I've just seen the 1 car flash past actually, and it's the only multicoloured car out there. So it's the white, orange and red car just on the main straight now, the second of the 2 cars. So we'll have to name a few corners in deference to our sponsors. Come down here, I think that lends itself quite nicely to the A main chicane as he flicks through there, just past race control now. And then through the infinity curve off the end of the main straight. That double left-hander there, that is quite deceptive. Been speaking to a few of the Brits earlier down in the pits, because most of them have been here since Monday. A lot of the racers have, doing some practice with just the 14 rounds of practice that they've had so far. Fairly well dialed in. As you might have seen from Matt's video that he posted this morning, it was a little bit wet on Monday, so missed out on some of that. But got the cars fairly well dialed in, and then of course it's rained this morning, and that has put a bit of a spanner in the works for everybody, because everybody's been released from the pits. Bit of a different aim here. Not going for a quick time over the 4-minute run. Just looking to set the fastest 3 consecutive laps. Of course, this is just the warm-up for this session at the moment. Couple of minutes till the start. This is where everybody's going to take the opportunity to dive into the pits, get a splash of fuel. I think that's the number 6 car of Thilo Tottenham that we're following. As he comes through the A main chicane, out onto the main straight again, through the infinity curve. Yep, that is the 6 car of Thilo Tottenham. Car looking well balanced, nice and stable. Rotates nicely out of that hairpin down by race control. So Thilo looking like he may well be certainly contending for a main final place, given his pace in practice. So far from practice, we've seen Dominic Greener looking very, very fast. Dario Ballestri as well. Some of the usual suspects. Kyle Branson's look quick. We've seen defending champion Timu Lino. He's looking fast. Jules Groskamp also looking pretty rapid. We'll see if they can lay down some good times in this seeding practice. So clock hasn't actually started yet. Tottenham getting it a little bit sideways on the exit of the infinity curve there. Comes into the pits. Let's run with him there. Gonna have to watch out for that actually. The entry to those pits over the course of the weekend. It's quite a narrow entry. It funnels in from quite a high-speed section of the track. Sorry, sounds like we had a brief interruption of service there. Hopefully you can hear us all again, back and running. Let's see if we can pick up the number 2 car out there of Michael Dederian. Just trying to identify him as he comes underneath us. I think the 2 car is this orange coloured car. He's just coming through this Omega turn now. Down towards the A main chicane. Yep, that is the number 2 car. So running 3rd place in the heat at the moment in terms of 3 fastest consecutive laps. Looking a little bit leery. Also got quite a bit of push when he gets on the throttle, from the looks of things. If you watch, there's a fair bit of understeer going on there as he accelerates off the turn. Not too bad on power. But when he stays on the power, it's when he accelerates off of the corner. So it could actually be his clutch that's causing the issue. Maybe biting a little bit late and a little bit hard, launching the car forwards. Breaking traction with the front tyres. You can see he's fine down here through this infinity curve. Having said that, he just ran wide on that lap. But every time he gets on the throttle, the car suddenly leaps forwards. Up, and then 4 minutes of running on the track. Still running during warm-up. Might be something to keep an eye out on. Can see Gilles Groskamp's body shell out there, very distinctive. But he's not registering on the timing. Having said that, there's an unknown transponder out there. That one's fairly easily solvable then. Waiting for the warm-up to finish. Just hearing 1 minute till the start of the race, or the practice session. "30 seconds till the start. Everybody will be filtering into the pit lane for a refuel. Everybody set to be released for the start of this 4-minute session then. They're going. They're being waved out of the pit lane. First car round, the one car of Juan Garrido. It's the all-white car. Run with him for a little bit as he just goes through the A-main chicane now, out onto the main straight now. Down there through the infinity curve. Getting towards the top of the heat listing now. So expecting all of these guys to look pretty quick. No one looking like they're having an absolute disaster out there. Apart from Juan Garrido there. Pops it on its roof. Alex Thurston's just popped to the top of the timesheets. Sure we can spot Alex. He normally running a fairly distinctive pink body shell. Yeah, he's just coming down the main straight now. There's Alex with the 7 car. So he's just coming past the pit exit down into the A-main chicane. Let's run with him for a little bit. He's on the main straight. Pretty impressive from Alex. Then he is closing in on the back of Jules Groskamp. Was released 2 cars behind him. It looks like he's genuinely closing in on the back of him. Gilles got the fastest lap so far with a 13.5. I'm expecting actually Gilles to probably pop to the top of the timesheets. Gilles is the number 5 car. He is just coming out onto the main straight now. So he is the white, blue and orange coloured car. He's just coming past the pit exit now. It's predominantly white with some sort of blue flashes down the side. Out onto the main straight now. There we go. That's the 5 car. And sure enough, he has popped to the top of the timesheets. So those two, Gilles and Alex, seem to be setting a pretty hot pace out there. They're lapping... In fact, last time around, Alex did a 13.3. Gilles did a 13.4. About 2 100ths of a second between them on consecutive fast laps. Riding the curbs really nicely is Groskamp's car. That could prove to be important over the course of the weekend. Some of these curves are quite deceptive as well, but if you watch here, he can just flick the car across that curve there as he goes through the almost omega turn. Through the A-main chicane, gets the car slowed down. He takes a lot of curb on the exit of the infinity curve, but the car's taking it. It's riding the curve nicely. Little bit wider that time. In fact, Eduardo Escandon with the 8 car, he's just popped to the top of the timing sheets. And Alex has jumped in front of Gilles. No, Gilles back to the top. No, Escandon back to the top. Everybody getting their eye in. Towards the end of the run then. Escandon with the 8 car. Let's see if we can spot him. Just coming up towards the end of the 4 minutes. I think Eskandon is he's one of the all-white cars. That doesn't narrow it down, really. Everybody coming back into the pits now. Anyway, at the end of that, so Eskandon gets that from Alex Thurston, Joyce Groskamp, Tony Gruber, Patrick Schaefer, Milan Holthaus. And into the top heat now. Welcome to you if you are just joining us. We're RC Racing TV, bringing you coverage of what was supposed to be qualifying for the EFRA 1/10 IC Track European Championships from Turkheim, about an hour west of Munich in southern Germany. I say it was supposed to be qualifying. We had some rain delays earlier, so this is still seeding practice that's running. Just waiting for the top heat to go out. This is the first round of seeding practice. There'll be one more round of seeding practice tonight, and then we're going to go into qualifying tomorrow. This is just sorting out what order they will go into their heats tomorrow. Timo Lino will be off as number 1, as defending champion. Title he won in Villarreal in Portugal last year. Timo Lino, Alessio Mazzio, Francesco Tironi, Dario Balestri, Robert Peach, Kyle Branson, Carmine Raiola, and Frank Codina. Our drivers for this one. Just watching, Timo seems to be making a statement of intent and has got right on it straight from the off. Full gas, straight out in the warm-up session. Two minutes of this warm-up session remaining. Expect we'll start seeing people filtering back into the pits shortly, just for a splash and dash of fuel. One and a half minutes left. One minute until the start of seeding practice for this top heat. Just like to thank our event sponsors, Infinity and A-Main, for helping us to bring you this coverage. of the EFRA 1/10 Track IC European Championships from Turkheim in Germany. And of course EFRA as well for inviting us along to cover their event. Bringing you coverage for the next couple of days of all the track action that's going on. Everybody heading into the pits, all set to be released and start the seeding run. Timu should be released first. He's the sort of putty grey coloured car. In fact, he's not the first one that's left the pits. I think that's Alessio Mazzio has jumped out the pits in front of him. Positions are going to be jumping all over the place at the moment until everybody's got 3 laps completed. Should start settling down a little then. Cars ended up in the fence. That's the number 4 car of Dario Balestri. Rare mistake from Dario, recovered by Alex Thurston. Pops him back on the track. Robert Peach is the fastest car at the moment with the 5 car. Now he is a putty grey coloured car. See if we can spot him. He's just on the main straight now, I believe. Yep, that's the 5 car of Robert Peach. So he's just gone through the Omega turn. He's going down towards the A main chicane. There we go. Out onto the main straight now. This is the fastest car so far over 3 laps. So Robert, like Jared's last time out, you can see he's riding an awful lot of curb. I think that might be key to success of this weekend, having the ability to take quite a lot of curb on the entry to some of the corners. A little bit loose as he came out onto the main straight. That's always the danger. If you take too much curb, it will bite you. You can get 2 wheels on it. I think if you get 4 wheels on it, it's too much. They're quite deceptive. They're quite steep curbs here. And again, this layout is quite deceptive. Looks pretty simple, probably is pretty simple to drive, but it's difficult to drive fast. We've got 1.5 minutes left. Who else looks quick? Dario Balestri's popped to the front, actually, with the number 4 car. Let's see if we can find Dario. He was last seen, he was on his roof somewhere, wasn't he? He was one of the orange-coloured cars. There's 2 out there. That is the... So the 4 car is the sort of bright or the darker orange-coloured car. He's just gone through the A main chicane now and out onto the main straight. Here he is with the black rear wing. That's Dario Balestri. Dario seems to be serially unlucky at meetings that I'm announcing. The 2 that I was at last year that he was racing at had engine failures in both of them. Hopefully nothing more this weekend. You see someone on their roof coming onto the straight. He's recovered. Running with Dario still as he closes in on some traffic. It's nicely done. He takes a really tight approach to that infinity curve. Just coming up to the end of the time now. And this will be the end of round number 1 of time practice. One more round of time practice to complete today. Then we are done. Robert Peach looks like he's just jumped back to the top of the timesheets right at the end of that run. Heat number 1 all set to go for their warm-up. Four minutes until the start of the second round of time practice. Welcome to you if you are just joining us. We're RC Racing TV, bringing you live coverage of the EFRA 1/10 track IC European Championships from Turkheim in Germany. Just seeing Dario Balestri nearly being run over on his way out to a marshal spot. We were expecting to be bringing you qualifying from Turkheim at this point, but a small rain delay earlier has shifted the timetable around a bit. We think all qualifying is going to take place tomorrow. This is the last round of track action for today. We've got 9 heats, each of them 4 minutes, with a 4-minute warm-up as well. This heat consisting of Michael Mirka, Matthias Berunther, Daniel Bentonrider, Jörg Kapauf, Julius Rasquin, and Levin Kirsten. About 1.5 minutes of the warm-up session remaining. This warm-up just to give everybody the opportunity, get the engines up to temperature, feel what the track conditions are like. Bear in mind, these guys are the first heat out on track. They were the first heat out after the rain shower that we had earlier. They had a very, very, what you'd term green track, pretty slippery. They've had 9 heats worth of tyre rubber laid down. Their first few laps out, they will feel like they've got immense traction compared to what they had before. Probably have to learn how to drive again, almost. All of your reference points shift when you've got a sudden increase in traction like that. Everybody's starting to head back into the pits, ready for refueling. All set to be released. 10 seconds, I think that was. Being waved out of the pits. So they are off and running. Let's have a look. That's the 2 car of Matthias Barunther that we've picked up. Quite a distinctive looking body shell on there. Matthias, the German driver. Suspect he may well have driven this track a few times before. Quite a line, sort of wide line around the middle of the infinity curve. Being sensible though, the aim of this is to set 3 consecutive fast laps. You can always build yourself up to it. You're not going to do a very fast lap if you're on your roof. So driving around in the middle of the circuit gives you a pretty decent opportunity to at least establish a baseline through the middle of that infinity curve. You can see the number 4 car of Jörg Kapauf. He's the one closing in on this car that we're following. Let's sort of switch focus to the car immediately behind it. So a tighter line on the entry to the infinity curve. I think we're about to see Jörg. He's already passed Matthias on the timing screen. Let's see if he can pass him on the track. That was going to be brave on the entry to the infinity curve. He thought better of it. See if he can get him somewhere. He looks quicker. These drivers running against the clock. They're not actually racing each other. That does make sense for them to work together. Barunther gets out of the way. See how quickly Kapauf can pull away. Been released onto a clear track now. That's a really nice feeling as a driver when you've got a quick car underneath you and all of a sudden you pop out into clear track and just start disappearing away from everybody else. Oddly enough, when your car is that good and feels that planted, it doesn't actually feel that fast. There's no drama, nothing's going on, and you just think you're driving around, and then you become aware that you're catching and passing people for fun. Unfortunately, it's not something that happens to me particularly often, certainly not anymore. Jörg Kapauf pulling away quite comfortably. His best lap is some 2/10 faster than anybody else has managed. He's the only driver to have gone sub 14 from this heat. He's done a 13.8. Next quickest lap is a 14.0 from Gilles Rasquin. That is the Frenchman with the number 5 car. Let's see if we can find Rasquin with the 5 car. That was the 6 car. I've got a feeling the 5 car might be the yellow and green one. Just coming out onto the straight. Certainly seems to be lapping quite quickly. Yeah, that's the 5 car. Run with the yellow and green coloured car as he comes through the A main chicane. Onto the main straight now. Through the infinity curve. Now Rasquin was making good progress when he was driving around by himself, and it looks like he's catching the 6 car of Levin Kirstein and almost trying to catch too quickly. Starting to make a few mistakes. Really easy thing to do. You just start taking a bit too much speed into corners, hitting curves a little bit too hard. That is the heat complete, though. Jörg Kapauf does get that in the end. So some half a second faster over 3 laps than anybody else managed. Infinity, and this is the last time these guys will be out on track today. This second round of seeding practice. They'll be resorted based on their best 3 consecutive laps into heats for tomorrow. And the aim is to get qualifying completed tomorrow, and we'll have finals on Saturday. 3 minutes of this warm-up remaining. Cars running in this heat: Henrik Eilers, Alex Dill, Freddie Pellwise, Ronald Fankhauser, Klaus Lechner, Anthony Stefan and Andreas Jochum. Two minutes of the warm-up remaining. One minute until the start. Expecting to see cars filtering into the pits. All cars being called into the pits then. Heat number 2 of 9 getting ready to go. Henrik Eilers will lead away. Henrik Eilers down the main straight for the first time. Mistake there in the middle of the infinity curve for Eilers. I think the number 2 car of Alex Dill, the blue car behind him, looking quickest so far. Let's move back to the blue car, 1 car behind him then. It's our fast man so far, Alex Dill. Almost a racing pass out there from Dill on Eilers. Eilers a little bit down the timesheet at the moment. He's actually second quickest over a single lap. But a few off-track excursions, it's not going to help you when you've got to do 3 consecutive laps. It's annoying as well because you kind of know that you've done a couple of good laps and then you tense up a little bit in the middle of the third one. So easy to do. Alex still making good progress though. Best lap a 13.90. Anthony Stefan the next quickest with the 13.95. So half a tenth slower. See if we can pick up the 6 car actually of Anthony Stefan. I think he's just coming out onto the main straight now. He's the third of these cars. No, that was the 3 car. So where's the 6 car? Just checking. Right, I think the 6 car may well be just coming through the A main chicane now and out onto the main straight. Pretty sure that's the 6 car by process of elimination, because none of the others appear to be carrying a 6. Run with him as he just comes through onto the main straight once more, down the main straight. That's actually the 5 car of Klaus Lechner. There is, of course, the possibility that someone hasn't got the right number on because this is seeding practice. Let's run with the 5 car anyway. It's this sort of pinkish coloured car. He's just coming through the Omega now. Down on towards the A main chicane. Flicks through there, passes some traffic. Out onto the main straight. The lead of the 2 cars on the main straight through the infinity curve. He's just coming through the Omega now, the first of those 2 cars. So he goes down towards A main. There we go. Onto the main straight now. Flicks through the infinity curve. They have finished. So that car of Klaus Lechner that we were running with there ends up in 4th place in the heat. Getting set to be released for practice number 3, or heat number 3. Dominic Mukniak, Matt Cook, Kevin Rasquin, Nicholas Karampoulos, Yermin Etnel and Heinz Vax. 4 minutes until the start of the heat proper. This is the warm-up session. Once again, gives everybody an opportunity just to feel what they've got underneath them. Any changes in track conditions, gets the engines up to temperature. Lets them feel any changes they might have made to the chassis since the last run. Welcome to you if you are just joining us. We're RC Racing TV, bringing you coverage of the EFRA 1/10 IC 200mm European Championships from Turkheim in Germany. I'd like to thank our event sponsors, Infinity and A-Main Hobbies, for helping us to bring you this coverage. And would also like to thank EFRA for inviting us along as well. We'll be bringing you coverage for the rest of this race meeting. That should be qualifying tomorrow and finals on Saturday. Might sneak in a few finals tomorrow. Depends on what they can do with the timetable. We were all set to be running a couple of rounds of qualifying today. Unfortunately, some rain earlier on has put paid to that. Two minutes of the warm-up remaining. Getting ready to go. Dominic Mutniak released first. Matt Cook shows his intent and passes him. Let's run with Matt for a little bit then. And Matt Cook blast past with the number 2 car, and it didn't take any prisoners. He wanted that clear bit of track. That shows his intent early on. So Matt and one other car seem to have made a break for it. I think that's going to be the 3 car of Kevin Rasquin. That Kevin Rasquin looking really quick and launches his car past Matt Cook's car. Let's run with Rasquin then, the pink fronted car. Pink front, blue centre, white rear. He's looking seriously fast relative to everybody else out there. 13.8 best lap time, playing 14.3 for everybody else. Rasquin will be trying to get himself out of this heat for tomorrow then. Always helps if you can get yourself into a higher heat in qualifying. It normally just helps to drag you along a little bit. The only thing you want to avoid, especially on something on a relatively short lap such as this, is that you don't have to move out of the way for traffic too much. However, EFRA have a qualifying system that normally mitigates that, because they jumble the order for release from the pit lane every time. In theory, everybody gets a chance of running at or near the front of the field. round by round qualifying, of course, rather than FTD. Kevin Rasquin going away nicely at the front of this pack. Nicholas Karampoulos, the Greek driver, running in second in the heat. He's the number 4 car. Let's see if we can spot the 4 car out there. The 4 car is the white front, pink rear car. He's just going through the Omega curve now. He is down towards the A-main chicane now. Coming out onto the main straight now, the second of the 2 cars on the main straight. There we go, that's the number 4 car. In fact, he's just moved to the top of the timing sheet, has he? No, he's just been demoted again. So Rasquin nails 3 laps. So actually, Karampoulos now starting to find some pace. Pretty much matched with Rasquin for single time. It might have taken a little while for his pace to become apparent because he started a bit lower down the heat. Had to get past some of the other cars out there, but now he's on clear track and he's got a nice clear track in front of him. Let's see what he can unleash. We've got 30 seconds of this heat remaining as he comes through the Omega once more, past the pit exit. That could be entertaining, that pit exit at some points. The cars being fed out of there. It won't matter during qualifying, of course, but in finals could be quite interesting. It feeds out into quite a fast part of the circuit. So drivers rejoining the circuit will have to take some care. Karampoulos has actually got himself to the top of the timing sheet. 13.6 best lap. Got himself on some clear track, and once he'd done that, unleashed some serious pace. So Nicholas Karampoulos takes that from Kevin Rasquin. Heinz Vax gets himself up into 3rd place. Car set to be released for heat number 3 of practice. This is just their warm-up session. That is heat number 4 of practice, sorry. Of 9. This consisting of Daniel Thiel, Tobias Köhler, Franz Engel, Max Berger, Kevin Lehner, Raul de Amela, Tobias Hepp, and Traugott Scheer. Getting a breeze starting to blow across this Turkheim track. Now, can't see any more rain clouds on the horizon. I think we should complete this seeding practice okay. Breeze also bringing with it an odour from the farmer's field opposite, which can only be described as quite rural, I think. Just seen someone get it wrong through the infinity curve and into the fence at the end of the main straight. Remember, this is just the warm-up. Purpose of having this warm-up is to let everybody get their engines up to temperature. Feel any changes in the car so they're properly dialed in when the clock goes live. One minute until the start, just heard. All the cars being called back to the pit lane to be refueled. They'll then be released in order. Getting set to go. Looks like Daniel Thiel's been released then, this orange car, the number 1 car. In fact, I think he may have been the car that put it in the fence in the infinity curve. I noticed there's 2 orange coloured cars out there. Definitely one of the orange coloured cars. If he did put it in the fence there, it hasn't affected his confidence. Flowing around the track nicely. Tobias Köhler, actually the man on the move with the 2 car. He's 1 car back from this orange car that we're following. Let's see if we can pick him up on the main straight. There we go. So Köhler just edging towards the back of Thiel. You can see just watching the pair of the cars. Just looks like there's a little bit more rotation in Köhler's car. Too much rotation there as he ends up on the grass. I think that kind of caught him by surprise. I think Thiel tried to do the nice thing, backed out of the throttle, and Köhler had to check, pops it on its roof. All of that hard work that he'd just done, not completely undone, because he'd pumped in some fast laps. It hasn't demoted him from his usual, well, from the top of the timesheet, but it has put him right back in traffic. So he's got a couple of choices here now. He can either back off and sort of try and pick up that gap behind him, or try and find the gap behind him, or he can get his head down and he can try and charge through this pack of traffic. And it looks like he's choosing the latter. No prisoners being taken here. That car's making some interesting shapes. Clearly taking the opportunity to see what he's got underneath him when it comes to time for the finals. Really good on the entry to that infinity curve. It just takes a low line in and maintains that low line all the way through. So he's carving through those cars in front of him. Got just over a minute of the heat left. It's actually the 7 car of HEP that he is catching. So Tobias HEP is currently the quickest car in the heat, over 3 laps. But I'm expecting Tobias Köhler to go somewhere near him. He's chasing down fast car. And Köhler's actually gone to the top now with a 13.3. So So 30 seconds left. Let's run with Curler as he closes in on the back of Tobias Hepp. Clearly made the right decision then, charging through that traffic and having a quick car to chase down. Hepp actually gets himself back to the top with a 13.387. It's about half a tenth slower than Curler, but he's managed to do a few of them consecutively. His best three added together, a 40.3, plays a 40.4 of Curler. That's all of the track action for these guys today. So once again, welcome to you if you are just joining us. We're RC Racing TV, bringing you coverage of this EFRA 1/10 IC 200mm European Championships from Turkheim in Germany. I'd like to thank our event sponsors, Infinity and A-Main Hobbies, for helping us to bring you this coverage. This the second round of seeding practice. Last track action for these guys today. Leonardo Varga, Patrick Nahr, Quentin LaRue, Dominic Greener. Now there's a name. Melvin Diekman, Jacob Rosicky, Nicholas Scherer, and Gerhard Kandelhart. Dominic Greener, I think we need to keep an eye out on him later on. He has looked extremely fast and very consistent throughout practice. His pace looking pretty relentless when I saw him on track earlier. I think he will be a good shout to elevate himself out of this heat and into the top heat. If memory serves me correctly, he wasn't racing last year in Villarreal, which is probably why he's ended up where he has in the heat list, or in the initial seeding list. Timo Lino, top seed, of course, as he won last year in Portugal. Cars being advised they have 2 minutes left before racing starts, or track action starts. Just coming up to 1 minute until the start of the heat. Going to make a bit of a change for this one, actually. I think we want to pick up Dominic's car from the start. He's the number 4 car. It's the pink and black car. So it should be the 4th car released. Mainly because I want to see how quickly he gets to the front. Just been watching that practice, and he appeared to be making mincemeat out of everybody. So quick laps we've been seeing so far have been, we've seen a few like 13.3s. Okay, so it's the pink and black car we want to be watching, the 4th car released. So actually just got off the throttle very slightly there as he exited the pit lane, looking to get himself a clear track. Just going to be interesting to see what he can do and how quickly he can catch people. Comes down the main straight through the infinity curve. Pretty good opening effort, a 13.5. See what lap 2 is for him. As he flicks it out of the A-main chicane onto the main straight once more. 13.1. He's a couple of tenths faster than anybody else has managed so far. 3 tenths faster than anybody else in the heat. Another 13.1. And he is already now in amongst the traffic. That might actually hurt him for this 3rd consecutive lap. What did he manage that time round? Another 13.1. Actually, he's just done his fastest lap. So that kind of makes me look a bit stupid, doesn't it? Saying it was going to cost him passing traffic. So 3 13.1s. That's a pretty impressive pace. And to be honest, that's what it looked like during the free practice earlier. The pace that he had in his car. Others could do a single lap like it, but Dominic was just kind of relentless at that pace. So his best 3 laps, 39.4. Next best 3 laps that we're seeing is Patrick Nair. He's the only person that's gone sub 40 over 3 laps, and he has just squeaked in with a 39.9. So Dominic at least half a second quicker over 3 laps. Another 13.1 there from Dominic. In fact, the 2 car, the one in front of him, the white and green coloured car, let's see if we can pick him up, because he's making some pretty good progress himself, to be honest. Let's run with him. I'm sure we're going to see Dominic close in on him. Patrick running pretty well. He's just done a 13.1 that time round. Unfortunately for him, Dominic's done a 13.0. So he's probably got the Jaws music playing in his head. There's nothing like having a quick driver chasing you down for motivation. This is pretty good going, actually, from Patrick, because he started out 2 seconds in front of Dominic, and Dominic hasn't actually caught up to him yet. Dominic is definitely in front on the clock and definitely quicker. But that's a good effort. And Patrick moves out of Dominic's way. He saw that was Dominic, you just saw a flash past him. Let's stick with Patrick, because I've got a feeling now he may well try and pick up a bit of a tow if he can hang on to it. That looks like a pretty decent lap. 13.1 for Dominic, 13.2 for Patrick. 30 seconds left. These two looking like the class of this heat. Good run coming together for Patrick Nair as well. I think Dominic's broken the toe now and has got away as we come into the last 10 seconds. Let's flick back to Dominic then. He goes through the A-main chicane, down the main straight. So Dominic's got that complete, and 39.2 over 3 laps. In fact, Melvin Diekman has just managed, right at the death, to pump in 3 fast laps and do a 39.6. So he has just got that from Patrick Nair. It's a pretty good effort. Heat number 6 of 9 now set to run. So welcome to you if you are just joining us. We're RC Racing TV, bringing you coverage of the EFRA 1/10 track IC European Championships from Turkheim in Germany. See, Ben Morey and Giles Hodgkinson have joined us. Hi Ben, hi Giles. Drivers for this number heat: Jean-Marie Glorinek, Jonathan Munoz, Alexandra Cazzo, Roman Landre, Teddy Vandal, Cyril Dubois, Antonio Garrido, and Lampros. Yeah, I'm going to mangle that if I try and pronounce that. Apologies, Lampros, but that's what you'll be known as for the remainder of the weekend. 1.5 minutes of the warm-up to run. I think Matt Baker has just joined us as well. Hi, Matt. Everybody heading back to the pits, ready to be refueled, and the start of heat number 6. Then we'll have heat 7, 8, and 9. That's our track action for the day. If you were expecting to see any qualifying, that got moved back because of a rain delay. You can just see Matt stalking back to us. I think he might have got some further updates. Yeah, that's going to be the other problem. It will be dark. Right, cars have been released out onto the circuit. Glorinek running pretty well at the front. He was the number 1 car. This car looking a little malevolent. Very malevolent. I think if that was a human, it would be offering him outside for a fight, if I'm honest. Can probably wrestle 3 quick laps out of it, but not really what you want for the finals. Alexander Cazzo with the 3 car is the man on the move. Let's see if we can find the 3 car of Cazo. 3 car is the orange and blue coloured car. That is just going down. Last of the cars into the A main chicane. Just coming onto Main Straight now. This car doesn't look completely planted either. Does look like the rear wheels wanting to be in front of the front ones. That was a bit of a catch actually in the infinity curve. It looked like it half stepped out on him. Looked like he just steered into it and kept it pinned. Let's see if it's any better this time round. Yeah, he's managed to get it round okay that time. 1.5 minutes left. Who else is quick? The 2 car of Jonathan Munoz. 2 car is the all-white coloured car, 1 car forward of the one we're watching. So he is there through the exit of the A main chicane onto the Main Straight now. This looking like a fairly quick car in this heat. See, 13.8 the fastest lap that he's done. That kind of puts into perspective Dominic Greener's 13.1 or 13.0, I think he managed actually as his quickest lap last time out. A pretty imperious pace from Dominic, but there were other people in his heat that were able to run that as well. That could suggest a fairly tasty battle, I think, a little bit further down the field. We could see some local drivers making the pointy end of this, I think. Coming up towards the last 30 seconds, we'll stick with this number 2 car, Jonathan Munoz. Down the Main Straight. Choosing that middle line around the infinity curve. Seems to be 2 ways to take that. You can either go low and have a slightly lower speed, or slightly lower maximum speed, but take the shortest line, or you can drive around the middle of it at slightly higher speed. I think you pop out of it about the same, but that could have some kind of impact on fuel mileage when it comes to finals. That's always the thing with this gas racing. Someone can appear very, very quick in qualifying, but everybody can run a complete heat on a tank of fuel, no problem. So when you get into finals, if someone's able to go a little bit longer and run a fuel stop less, or happens to be a little bit easier on their tyres, I think when we get to the 45-minute main, everybody's going to have a tyre change. But some will manage on probably 1 complete set and maybe 1 outside set. Again, speaking to some drivers earlier, this track layout very, very hard on the front left tyre. You've got a couple of sort of very long on power left curbs. You've got this infinity curve at the end of the straight, and then as you come sort of out of the Omega past the pit exit, possibly not completely visible from this camera angle, but that's not actually a straight, that's a continuous curve that you're just accelerating through all the time. So you've always got some left lock applied, some right lock applied. Bill Nooner wanting to know how fast these guys are running. Probably at the end of the straight. We haven't got a speed trap here, but I would probably say they're doing something around 65 to 70 miles an hour. So getting on for 100k, I would think, by the end of the straight would probably be a pretty good estimate. Taking part in this heat, we have Brice Turco, Michael Dederian, Yannick Namislo, Patrick Fanhauser, Basil Concaldi, Thilo Totman, James Connolly, and Thomas Guillaume. Just warming up, getting ready for heat number 7 of 9. 3 heats left of the track action today. Hello to you if you are just joining us. We're RC Racing TV, bringing you live coverage of the EFRA 1/10 IC Track European Championships. This is the 200mm class. We're in Turkheim in Germany, about an hour west of Munich. I'd like to thank our event sponsors, Infinity, A-Main Hobbies, and of course EFRA, for inviting us along. And of course, thank you to you, the viewers, for joining us. Warm-up sessions into its last minute now. So who did we, you're joining us at about the point that we sort of saw everybody go out earlier. Let's run with I think the 2 car of Dederian looked quick. That's the orange coloured car, I believe. Let's pick him up on the main straight now. Brice Turco didn't hang about. He went on the B of the bang, I think, as he was the first car released. Dederian does do a quicker opening lap. But down the main straight, shifts up into second gear. It's a centrifugal gearbox on these cars. So you can adjust the tension of the centrifuge in there of the counterweight, so it does adjust the point at which it will shift. But having had 14 rounds of practice over the course of the week, they'll have got that pretty well tuned in by now, I would have thought. Running with the 2 car of Dederian. Looking pretty good, pretty well balanced. Car on the move, though, is the 6 car of Thilo Totman. That is the white, orange and green coloured car. He is just coming out onto the main straight now. Here we go past us. There we go. That is the 6 car of Thilo Totman. Our fast man in this heat. Run with him for a little bit. See, he's taking that wider line through the centre of the Infinity curve as well. Through the A-main chicane as he starts closing in on some of the cars in front of him. Past the car that spun in the Infinity curve. That's going to be something else, actually, that will come into play. Of course, whoever wins or whoever makes the main final is going to deserve it. But there will be an element of luck, I feel. It's only going to take someone to spin in that Infinity curve in front of you, and you can collect them at full speed, and you're not going to have a lot left of your car. As always, an element of luck going to be required, especially when we start getting into finals. Christmas tree format finals, running up towards the 45-minute main final. That will take place on Saturday. Tottenham still leading this one with 1.5 minutes to go. He's got down to a 13.1 fastest lap, so getting somewhere near the lap times that Dominic Greener was doing earlier. Thilo taking quite a lot of curb on the exit of the Infinity Curve. Again, we said it earlier, you kind of get the sense that being able to ride the curbs or predict exactly how much you can ride the curbs is going to be fairly important over the course of the weekend. Looks like Thilo's actually taking slightly different lines every lap as he goes through that Infinity Curve. He's trying a low line there on some laps, and that line through the middle on others. He's taking an awful lot of speed in there. You can see as he just caught and passed another car on the exit of it. So into the last 10 seconds. Good run from Thilo Totman. 39.6 over 3 laps. And a mistake there right at the death. Didn't really, it didn't cost him at all. He'd already pumped in 3 consecutive laps. Be wanting to avoid that in qualifying tomorrow. Heat number 8 of 9. Penultimate heat then. Juan Garrido, Tony Gruber, Milan Holthuis, Patrick Schaefer, Gilles Groskamp, Victor Olivares, Alex Thurston, and Eduardo Escandon. Interesting. Gilles just come past us. Sounded like he was stuck in first gear. Let's just see if it's just first lap out the pits. Engine not fully warm yet. No, it's just shifted up absolutely fine. Okay. False alarm. That's one of the purposes of these warm-ups, is to get the engines up to temperature. Clearly when the engine's cold, not revving out at all, and you're not developing enough power to generate the RPM needed to get the gearbox to shift into second. But just 1 lap at normal pace and all seems to be fine. Two minutes of this warm-up remaining. Welcome to you if you are just joining us and wondering what's going on. We're RC Racing TV, bringing you coverage of the EFRA 1/10 IC Track European Championships. This the 200mm class. Bringing you this event from Turkheim in Germany. In conjunction with our event sponsors, Infinity and A-Main Hobbies. Also like to thank EFRA for inviting us along to provide this coverage. Building towards the last track action of the day. All cars into the pit lane as heat 8 of 9 gets ready to go. And be live with qualifying all day tomorrow. So looking at who was quick last time, Groskamp was quick, as was Eskandon. I believe the number 8 car, so Eskandon should be the last car to be released. We'll see if we can pick him up and watch as he goes through the pack. In fact, I'm not sure that Eskandon has been released yet. Has he got some kind of a problem? Okay, let's pick up Alex then, the pink car, as he comes onto the main... yeah, okay, let's run with Alex, the pink coloured car, just for a little bit. So Eskandon in the pits with some kind of problem, and looking at where his mechanic's focusing his attention, it's somewhere, it's something to do with the clutch, or is he just getting it started? Or yeah, okay, he's just going to pop that on the starter box, get the engine up and running. Good choice to follow Alex. He is at the top of the heat. So he's closing in on the 6 car of Victor Perez. Who else is quick? The 1 car of Juan Garrido. In fact, no, Milan Holthuis, the 3 car. He is he's the white car on the main straight, just coming past us now through the infinity curve. That probably doesn't help John, because there's 3 white cars, line astern. He's the one just coming out of the main straight now, in front of the orange and blue car. There we go. Okay, that was interesting. He just pulled out of the way of the 1 car of Juan Garrido. Despite being faster. Perhaps he likes to be the hunter rather than the hunted and have a car to chase down. Can help to focus your attention. Yeah, he's just backed off there. He's trying to get himself a bit of a gap that he can work with. You can sometimes feel like, you know yourself as a driver, whether you tense up and if you think you're going to make a mistake when you're in front of someone on track. Certainly if you know that you're in front of them on the clock, sometimes it can be better to just drop in behind them, let them tow you around and get them on the split. Split's not really counting for anything today, of course. This is just 3 fastest laps, as quick as you can fire them in. So Milan is channeling his inner Ken Block, I think, as he comes around the infinity curve. The car is, it's like in a bit of a perma-drift as he heads around there. He's carrying a lot of corner speed. Eskandon's obviously got himself up and running, and he's out somewhere on the circuit with the number 8 car as well. Let's see if we can spot him. I think he might actually be 1 car back. Yeah, the 8 car he's 1 white car back. There we go. That is the 8 car that we've got. So, in fact, he's moved himself to the top of the timing sheets. Started out a little bit late. He's got himself into the pack, but with 1 minute to go, he's got, he's the only driver to go sub 40, sorry, over the 3 consecutive laps in this heat. Wonder if that could be the temperature just dropping out the track. It's notably over the last 10 minutes got a little bit chillier. I think Matt's regretting coming in his shorts. Can see the 8 car closing in then on the back of that track in front of him. Alex still running second as the heat comes to an end, but Eskandon, I Looking pretty handy. Sets the fastest lap of the heat as well, for good measure. Cars being released onto the track for the last track action of the day. A few more drivers joining us. Hi Dougal, hi Michael Bolt. Drivers in this heat then. This will be the last time they're running in these groups this weekend. Timulino, Alessio Mazzio, Francesco Tironi, Dario Balestri, Robert Peach, Carl Branson, Carmine Raiola and Sergi Codina. One minute of this warm-up remaining. Everybody back into the pits. Robert Peach was the fast man last time out with the number 5 car. That's like the, well, unless he's running race paint this time, it was a like putty grey coloured car. I think that's what he's running again. Does appear to be. Let's run with him. Okay, the 5 car. Yep, he's running that same coloured car. He's just coming out onto the main straight now. Here we go. The number 5 car. Early mistake from Mazzio. This will be interesting to see what Robert Peach manages. So he's got a nice clear track in front of him already. (13.4). (13.3). Difficult to get an exact reading because the track temperatures have obviously dropped quite considerably since Dominic Greener was on the track back in heat number 5. Clearly tomorrow I would think they're both going to be in the same heat. 13.1 for Robert Peach now, so he's pretty much on pace. Robert historically always favoured going long on fuel as well. His car looking very well balanced. Through the infinity curve, he's taking that line around the middle of it, but then gets on the brakes and takes an awful lot of curb. He takes a much earlier apex on the exit of the infinity curve than most do. As he exits the A-main chicane, Let's have a look down the main straight. Let's see if he does that again and repeats it. He does. So he gets on the curb much, much earlier there. Perhaps that's one of the track secrets. Should get an idea when we watch tomorrow. Watch again. So he seems to get on the brakes for longer and just pivots the car around and gets on the throttle on the exit of it earlier. It's another 13.1 from him that time round. Just a 39.5 over 3 laps. Not quite matched Dominic Greener's 39.4 over 3 laps, but certainly in the ballpark. It's another 13.1. So it's just relentless. One minute 20 to go. Just going to stick with Robert Peach. This one. This is really interesting, just watching how this one could develop. I think we may be seeing a pretty epic qualifying battle going on tomorrow between Robert Peach and Dominic Greener. They'll both clearly be in the top heat with this pace that they're displaying. Couple of drivers going sub 40 in this one. Robert Peach, obviously, Carmine Raiola and Dario Balestri, and Francesco Tironi's actually just got himself up there as well. So into the last 15 seconds now. $13.20 that time round. Ends his string of 13.1s, but not by much. Misses it by a couple of hundredths. That's it, time is up. That then is the seeding practice complete. Let's have a look then. We've got Dominic Greener, fastest over 3 laps with 39.2. So quarter of a second back with Robert Peach over 3 laps. Just under a tenth of a second a lap he's given away. Thilo Topman, 3rd. Melvin Diekman is 4th. Patrick Neyer is 5th. So he was down in the heat with Dominic Greener. So use that to good effect and use that toe that you got from Dominic to good effect. Dario Balestri, Timu Lino, and Eduardo Escandon are making up the top 8 then. Basil Concaudi, and good effort from Alex Thurston actually in 10th place. So looking pretty decent there. That is it. That's our track action for the day. So thank you for joining us. We've been RC Racing TV, and we will be back tomorrow with qualifying. See ya.